Hey everyone, my name is Wedge, and let me tell you right now, Amonkhet previews have hit another level today. I'm talking hype through the roof. Today, we're looking at more ridiculous cards than you can shake a stick at, so I don't want to waste too much time before getting right into them. I will take a few seconds, however, to remind you that we have a giveaway running right now for an Amonkhet booster box, bundle, and one of each Planeswalker deck. You just have to be subscribed to enter. Free shipping worldwide. Just click the first link in the description. Alright, let's get into it and collectively freak out. Pyramid of the Pantheon is 1 mana for an artifact. You can pay 2 mana and tap it to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Put a brick counter on the pyramid. You can also tap it and add 3 mana of any color to your mana pool. Activate this ability only if there are 3 or more brick counters on the pyramid. Well, isn't this just a super cool card? It's like putting mana on layaway. Think about it this way. You basically give up 1 mana per turn to color fix for 3 turns, and then in one fell swoop you get it all back, and this becomes a disturbingly powerful artifact, like Black Lotus level awesome. Of course you have to get it to 3 brick counters, but still, if you can do that, the pyramid becomes disturbingly powerful. In Commander with some Proliferate, genius. Love the card, requires a bit of attention to get going, but that payoff is legendary. Okay, we're going deep on this no cards in hand thing. Grim Strider is 4 mana for a 6/6 horror that gets -1/-1 for each card in your hand. Okay, first things first, this is like if Slenderman and Bolas had a baby. Absolutely terrifying artwork, my goodness. Anyways, limited powerhouse for sure. Clearly we're trying to either discard or cast everything we have, can't get much more straightforward than this. It's like a hand-sized version of Death Shadow. Love the card, it'll be a limited bomb for sure, no doubt, but it still creeps me the heck out. Time to look at some zombie tribal cards. Lord of the Accursed is 3 mana for a 2/3 zombie. Other zombies you control get +1/+1. You can also pay 2 mana and tap it, and all zombies gain menace until end of turn. Wait, what? 2 mana and all zombies gain menace? How in the world is that fair? Seriously, come on, wow. Okay, just when we thought zombies couldn't get cooler, they do. Lord of the Accursed is a dangerous next step in making zombies work in Standard, and you best believe it's on my radar now. This is an absurdly powerful card. You blanket your entire team with a strong evasion ability. Just wow, just impressive. Dread Wanderer is 1 black for a 2/1 zombie jackal that enters the battlefield tapped. You can pay 3 mana and return it from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate this ability only anytime you could cast a sorcery, and only if you have 1 or fewer cards in hand? Sure, why not? Let's add more zombie ridiculousness to the pile, but this time it's also a jackal, because let's just pile on the awesome. Dread Wanderer is a powerful 1-drop with an easy-to-use recursion ability. This is like Gravecrawler meets Reassembling Skeleton meets Diregraph Ghoul. I love it. I think it's exactly what a zombie tribal deck needs. Something with more power than Crypt Breaker that can come back. Zombies are looking crazy. Plague Belcher is 3 mana for a 5/4 zombie beast with menace. When it enters the battlefield, put 2 -1/-1 counters on target creature you control. Whenever another zombie you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life. Wizards? What? You could have stopped with Dread Wanderer. What are you doing? Alright, that's it. Guaranteed once the set comes out, we're making a zombie tribal deck. It has been decreed. Because zombies are legit off the rails right now. I am beyond excited to build this deck. Plague Belcher is crazy. And while the 3 mana slot is fairly competitive in this deck, you can stick both of those counters on your Dread Wanderer. It dies, your opponent loses life, you can get it back later, and now you have a 3 mana 5/4 with menace. Am I alone here? I can't be the only one who's just floored by the obviously awesome zombie tribal push. Count me in. I am so in. Quarry Hauler is 4 mana for a 4/3 camel. When it enters the battlefield, for each kind of counter on target permanent, put another counter of that kind on it or remove 1 from it. Okay, I don't really care too much about this card at face value. The Proliferate trigger is sweet, but the real reason I'm mentioning it, it's another camel. We're getting dangerously close to me worrying about camel tribal. I gotta keep this thing on my radar. I'm watching you, Watsy. I know what you're up to. Rhonas the Indomitable is 3 mana for a 5/5 legendary creature god with Death Touch and Indestructible. It can't attack or block unless you control another creature with power 4 or greater. You can also pay 3 mana and another target creature gets +2/+0 and gains trample until end of turn. Yeah, confirmed best god, easily. I actually don't think it's close. Well, maybe. I digress. Rhonas is insane. A 5/5 with Indestructible and Death Touch for 3 mana? That's beyond outrageous. And you really think that having another 4-power creature is that difficult? Especially when you can +2 something whenever you want? Yeah, no way that's going to be hard to do. We started this preview cycle by looking at gods that had a bit of a difficult time enabling themselves, but Rhonas? You're going to enable this thing by just playing a green deck. Constructed playable 100% of the time. You will see this in Standard. I can't imagine a world where a 3-mana 5/5 with Death Touch, Indestructible, and no real drawback wouldn't see play. If you have no other creatures on the battlefield in your green deck, you're probably dead anyways. Rhonas is crazy. This whole set is crazy. I have no idea what's going on here. Someone send help. Reduce is 3 mana for an instant. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 3 mana. Rubble is a sorcery with Aftermath. Up to 3 target lands don't untap during their controller's next untap step. Okay, so first we get Censor, then we get Reduce. We're just avoiding mana leak and miscalculation at all costs, aren't we? Just insane. Anyways, I find the synergy between the 2 cards cute, but nothing more than that. If we're talking functionality, Reduce is a power down leak, obviously, and that might be good enough for Standard. I have my doubts. I do like Rubble individually, though. The ability intrigues me. Being able to just keep your opponent's lands tapped for a turn, talk about a tempo killer. In a way, it sort of delays the game for you. Definitely something a slower deck would want to take advantage of. If anything, I wish the cards were reversed. You tap their lands down first, then use Reduce from the graveyard when they don't have all their mana at their disposal to pay the cost. But hey, I'm not an R&D. Seems like an alright card. It's a decent uncommon. Heaven is X and a green for an instant. It deals X damage to each creature with flying. Earth is X and 2 red for a sorcery with Aftermath. Earth deals X damage to each creature without flying. I find it interesting that Heaven is the name of a green card, but we'll move right past that. I think Heaven's pretty sweet if we still lived in a world full of spirits, which we don't. So for Standard playability, we're a little limited here, even with Earth bombing the ground. 5 mana to deal 3 to everything on the ground is especially when Radiant Flame still exists. That card does a great job at burning the world. Now, I get that the split card comes with 2 powerful abilities, but you're just spending so much mana. You know, Commander, that's where this is good. Plenty of red-green decks have issues with flyers. This will help that. Done, we did it. Hashtag analysis. Good job, team. Neheb the Worthy is one of anything 1 black and 1 red for a 2/2 legendary creature Minotaur warrior with first strike. Other Minotaurs you control have first strike. As long as you have 1 or fewer cards in hand, Minotaurs you control get +2/+0. Whenever Neheb deals combat damage to a player, each player discards a card. My goodness, there's so much text on this. It's like a labyrinth. Okay, Legendary Minotaur, nice. Minotaur Tribal is clearly a thing in Commander now, but it's taking discard for a ride as well. Neheb is weirdly focused on keeping cards out of your hands, something I thought was meant to be a vampire mechanic in current Standard, but I guess not. Regardless, due to his discard-friendly nature, Neheb is not only great for Minotaur Tribal, he's also great for red-black aggro in general due to the fact that the archetype enjoys emptying its hand already. Cheap cost, amazing abilities, fits right into the color pair. I love it. This is 10 out of 10 awesome. Holy mother of a Ketra, Nissa, Steward of Elements, is X, 1 green and 1 blue for an X loyalty planeswalker. You can +2 and scry 2. You can 0 and look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card or a creature card with converted mana cost less than or equal to the number of loyalty counters on Nissa, you may put that card onto the battlefield. Lastly, you can -6 and untap up to 2 target lands you control. They become 5/5 elemental creatures with flying and haste until end of turn. They're still lands. Nissa is insanity incarnate. Let's take this one step at a time. First, Nissa is Simic now? When did that happen? Second, she has X loyalty and X in her casting cost. Do you realize the potential that creates? She can enter the battlefield with 6 loyalty counters, or 4, or 10. Who cares? You're playing Simic. You're going to have so much mana, you'll be able to just ultimate her without a problem whenever you want, no big deal. Okay, we need to take this a bit slower. Let's really analyze what's going on here. She enters with X loyalty, which means that she scales with the game. 4 mana will get you a 2 loyalty planeswalker, not great, but 6 mana gets you a 4 loyalty planeswalker, and 10 mana gets you an 8 loyalty planeswalker. Even 3 mana gets you a 1 loyalty planeswalker that you can then +2 immediately. You get it. More mana, Mo Nissa. Her 0 is where our focus is. You get to look at the top card of your library, then based on your loyalty, and if it's a creature or land, you get to put it onto the battlefield straight away. No casting, no funny business, nothing. And it's less than or equal to the number of counters on Nissa, which means it's wide-reaching, most likely grabbing any creature or land in your deck, and this is a 0 cost. You lose nothing. The best part? Her +2 lets you set up your 0 for next turn. Scrying 2 gives you enough information to get what you need in place, or at least move some crap out of the way. And lastly, that -6, you may think it's underwhelming, but this Nissa isn't meant to die ever. You want your -6 to be something you do when you're sitting at 1 billion loyalty and you're bored. Smacking in with 2 5/5 flyers with haste, that's going to do a lot of damage. And while it isn't the focus of the card, obviously, it's still strong in its own right. Let's be real for a second. Nissa's Steward of Elements is one of the most unique planeswalkers they've ever created, incorporating X loyalty, a 0 ability that's exciting and dynamic, and shifting a core Gatewatch planeswalker into a different color identity. All of these are things we've been asking for, and they delivered. Nissa is amazing, the design is amazing, playability is going to be beyond fun. I can't talk this up enough. I'm so thrilled to see this card. I'm just so happy. I'm running out of breath. Sunscorched Desert is a land desert card. When it enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to target player. You can tap it to add 1 colorless mana to your mana pool. Great. Super. More deserts. Just what Camel needs. Unbelievable. I'm literally never going to hear the end of it now. Super. That's great. Real friggin' great. Thanks, Wizards. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to kill me? Ugh. I mean, after today's previews, I think it's safe to say that Amonkhet is just off the rails. It is. It really is. We just got so much ridiculousness, I don't even know what to think, so I'm turning it over to you. What do you think? How do you feel about these cards? What excites you? What doesn't? Was this the push you needed to really buy into the hype for the set? Because I'm not going to lie to you, if this didn't do it for you, I have no idea what will, my goodness. Anyways, be sure to stay tuned to the channel for the latest and most reliable Amonkhet spoiler information you could ever need. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. This video is brought to you in part by TCGplayer.com. At this point, I'm confident that Amonkhet can basically sell itself, and it'll do that by costing $90 per box, pre-ordered right now on TCG Player. $90 a box. That's a great price, especially if you don't have a local game store. If this set has piqued your interest and you want in, just click the link on the screen. Helps the channel. We all win. Enjoy.
What?